Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022. Stand up for your country. So who is enabling, I think that's a fair word, Putin in his awful human rights violations of Ukraine? In fact, Secretary of State Blinken said today that they have proof now that the Russians have violated human rights. And the reason that they made that announcement is they want Putin to be afraid that he's going to be prosecuted in The Hague. That's the international court where you can bring charges against human rights violators. Putin doesn't care. I mean, I don't think this is going to matter one way or the other to him. But there are people who are enabling Putin, and that is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So first I'm going to go down the United States, then I'm going to go international, and we'll begin with the politicians. Put them up on the screen. So we have two House Democrats, Omar and Bush. They're in the squad, far, far left. It voted against Russian oil ban. And 15 Republicans. All right, you see their names there on the screen. Green, Gohmert, Boebert, Gates, Cawthorn, the most famous of them. But 15 of them, they said, no, we don't want to really ban Russian oil. And you would say, well, why? So that's a good question. And here's the answer. Some on the right are so suspect of the Biden administration, they will not support anything President Biden does across the board. Okay? So they hate him. They say he's responsible for this. Whatever, you've heard it. You've heard it. So no matter what it is, if Biden's behind it, they're going to oppose it. Okay, that's those votes. On the pundit front, let's throw those up there. These are people who have not come down in favor of punishing Putin. I think that's a fair description. Tucker Carlson, Roger Stone, a GOP Senate candidate in Ohio, J.D. Vance, Alex Jones, Tulsi Gabbard, Candace Owens. Okay, so they are not in business to punish Vladimir Putin. Overseas, a very interesting array of countries that are either supporting Putin or not saying anything to condemn him. Throw those on up. We have China leading the way, of course, Xi Jinping. Then we have Iran and Saudi Arabia, because they are in the oil business, as they say in Texas. So they're not on board to punish Putin. Then you got the Emirates next to Saudi Arabia, same situation. Cuba, of course. India, Modi. Now, Modi buys buku weapons from Russia. That's what that's all about. Assad, Russia keeps him in power. Maduro, Venezuela, hardcore communist. That's an interesting name. Orban in Hungary. And then, of course, Kim Jong-un. Orban in Hungary, Hungary's in NATO. And Orban isn't praising Putin, but he's not allowing NATO weapons to go through Hungary on their way to Ukraine. Come on, President Orban, let's go. All right? You're either in or you're out. If you're out, you need to resign from NATO, because Putin is a danger to you and every Hungarian on the planet. So I put those names up there because I want you to know that there is a fairly significant enabling of Putin. Now, I'm not one of these people that believes any of those people should be punished for what they say. All right? Because I think we need open debate. I think they're wrong. I think Putin he got to be stopped. And if you don't think that Putin's going to expand his terror, he will if he gets away with Ukraine, and so will China. So that's the fait accompli. But if you want to say, well, Putin's okay with me, or I don't want to take any action against Putin, I think you should be heard. Is that fair enough? All right. And that is the subject of the Talking Points memo. I should say that is the end of the Talking Points memo. All right, so Putin says he's going to go to the G20 summit in Indonesia that takes place in Bali on Halloween. All right, so Putin says, I'm going. Well, nobody else is going to go if you go, Vlad. So it'll be you, it'll be China, maybe Vietnam. That's it. All right, nobody else is going to go because you're a bad guy and they don't want to be around you. So that caught my eye today. Halloween's perfect time for the G20 summit in Indonesia. So Joe Biden's in Brussels, Belgium. He left at 9 a.m. Eastern time. It's about a 6-hour flight over there. He arrived in late afternoon. And I don't know what he's going to do tonight. Doesn't have anything on schedule, but I'm sure he'll have a nice dinner, nice supper over there. A little jet lag and go to bed early. Then tomorrow he's going to meet with NATO and EU and all of that, and they're going to announce new sanctions. We know what they are. They're going to sanction 300 members of the Russian Duma, which is their Congress. Of course, they don't have freedom, but they sit there. And those people are going to have their assets frozen if they have money in foreign countries, which most of them do, and they can't travel anywhere. So those will be the new sanctions. It's going to punish all the politicians in Russia. So that'll take place on Thursday. Then Friday goes to Poland. They got to be careful about the Poland itinerary here because you got Russian agents in Poland. They could do damage. You got to be a little careful here. So Biden is going to meet with Duda, the president of Poland. And Poland's in trouble because it's got to take millions and millions of Ukrainian refugees because that's the big border. And the USA will promise a lot of aid and help to Duda. I am in agreement that America should take some Ukrainian refugees, particularly if they have people here. If they have relatives here, we should take some. Because now there are, 10 million displaced people in Ukraine? For those of you who are enabling Putin, 10 million? Pretty nasty. Now, NATO estimates 15,000 Russian soldiers have been killed or wounded in Ukraine. I don't know how they get that number. Russia's not going to put it out. And there's no reportage behind the lines, and Ukraine's not going to tell you the truth. They're going to stack everything up, as you would too. If you were running Ukraine, you put out as much propaganda as you could. But that's the number. NATO says 15,000 Russian soldiers either killed or wounded in this invasion. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea. I couldn't possibly know. All right, let's go polls on Biden. Okay, so the Ukraine thing is influencing it, and of course, inflation here. Reuters, left-wing news organization, 43% Democrat, 37% Republican. That's down 6, so it's not a legitimate poll. It asked job approval for Joe Biden. 40% approved. That's a terrible number from a liberal poll. 54% disapprove. All right. Another poll, Emerson College, that's in Boston. They put it out. Approve or disapprove of job Joe Biden is doing. 43 approve, disapprove 49. That's pretty close. And in the methodology, it's 38% Democrat, 36% Republican, so fairly close. I do not believe this poll. I don't believe that 43% of the American people approve of the job Joe Biden is doing. But in the Emerson poll is another question that's pretty interesting. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable view of Donald Trump? All right? 59% favorable now, 39% unfavorable. I don't believe that. And I supported Donald Trump's policies in office, but I don't think 59% of Americans have a favorable view of him. I could be wrong on it. And they asked the same thing about Biden's, favorable 47. That's down 12 points from Trump, unfavorable 49. So Trump is up 20% in the favorable. And this isn't job. This is just you like him or not. Trump is up 20 points in this poll. Biden is down 2. Again, I'm skeptical about the poll. If you are stuck in a timeshare and you haven't called Lone Star Transfer yet, what are you waiting for? Lone Star Transfer has helped more than 16,000 happy customers. They are family-owned, have a 99% success rate. Their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. I mean, does it get better than that? The team at Lone Star Transfer will keep you informed every step of the way until you are legally and permanently released from your timeshare. So don't pay another penny for a timeshare you don't use. Get peace of mind today with Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Give Lone Star Transfer a call for a free no obligation consultation. 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or online at lonestartransfer.com. Okay, so one of the things that I've been trying to get for you, No Spin News listeners on the radio and watchers on thefirsttv.com and all of our other affiliates, is somebody who was there, who has seen what's going on in the Ukrainian theater, and that includes the refugees. This is an organization called World Central Kitchen. It was founded in 2010 by Chef Jose Andres. It provides meals to poor people and people in need all over the planet. Very fine organization. One of the members of that organization is the mayor of Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, nice town on the Jersey Shore. All right, his name is Paul Cantera, and he comes to us now from Point Pleasant. So, Mayor, tell us what you were doing. You were in Poland, I understand, correct?
Yep, we were right on the border at Medica and at the refugee center in Przemyśl, a few other places as well.
And what did you do there?
Well, Bill, we went over there in the real early days right after the unprovoked Russian aggression, and we started seeing the refugees streaming across. Decided to just buy a plane ticket. The town that I'm mayor of, Point Pleasant Beach, we have a tremendous amount of young Ukrainian adults that come into our town every summer and help operate our rides and attractions. So this was a way for us to kind of pay it forward a little bit. We rented a big passenger van, went over there, 5 suitcases of supplies, $15,000 to go buy more in donations. And while we were over there, we got set up with World Central Kitchen and helped give out meals on the border, as well as helping prep food and understanding their operations a little bit better as well.
Okay, so what did you see that affected you?
It's hard not to be affected over there, right? With close to 2 million Ukrainian refugees already streaming through Poland, which makes up about a 20th of the whole country's population already in terms of Poland. They simply don't have the resources to handle this. It's just a mass swarm of humanity coming across that border, many of whom have no place to go, no resources to take care of them. And they need to get settled into the refugee center and then pushed on to other points throughout Poland and Europe, because cities like Krakow and Warsaw have already signaled that they're completely filled up. But when you look at how disproportionately the population coming across is women and children and elderly, there's virtually no men of fighting age in the group. It really brings things home as well. And they're looking for things like toys and coloring books and Barbie dolls and things like that to make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, to give some relief to the children. Where do the refugees sleep when they come over? Are there tents? Where do they go?
It's heartbreaking. Obviously, it's really cold over there right now. It dips down into the teens at night. They have an abandoned Tesco supercenter, which is basically like a Walmart, and they've hollowed it out, and people are just sleeping on the floor, sleeping on cots that have been brought in, sleeping on blankets. They're covering every square inch of that, them, their children, there's pets running around. It's a really surreal scene, and they don't necessarily have everything that they need there as well.
Is the American Red Cross there? I mean, who are the agencies in charge?
The Polish Red Cross is there, and they have good operations. They have a tremendous amount of volunteers. People that are coming in that need medical assistance are finding it pretty readily. There's some groups that have donated some clothing as well. And obviously, World Central Kitchen, as soon as they cross the border, they're putting a hot meal in everybody's hands.
Did you speak to the Ukrainian refugees? I mean, yourself, and if so, what did they say?
We did speak to them, and it kind of spanned the entire gamut. There's a lot of disbelief amongst the Ukrainian refugee population. A lot of them think that they're going home in a week or 2 weeks. But if you look at what's going on in some of the cities on the eastern side of Ukraine and the southern part of Ukraine, where all of the apartment buildings have basically been bombed and are destroyed, there's going to be such a massive, decade-long or longer rebuilding effort. These people who traditionally don't really speak any language other than Ukrainian, they don't speak English, they don't speak Polish, they don't speak any other European languages, they're going to have a really difficult time trying to resettle and restart their lives in someplace completely new. But speaking to some of the orphans, there's a group, Caritas, that's trying to resettle them throughout Europe. They are completely shocked. They don't know what awaits them. Speaking to some of the elderly people who have left, men of fighting age behind, they're scared for them as well. It's just so much uncertainty and so much sadness. And what really struck us, to be honest, was how similar they are to Americans. They're middle-class people who were living normal lives, believed that Putin was just saber rattling a couple weeks ago, and now they have one travel suitcase with them. And it's all changed in the blink of an eye.
How do they get to Poland? How are they transported from eastern Ukraine, central Ukraine to the Polish border?
So there are still, as of when we were over there, there's still trains running, especially from Lviv to Medica. A lot of them arrive at the main train station in Przemyśl. There's buses that are transporting orphans. There's buses that are transporting refugees. A lot of them are driving, even though there's massive fuel shortages over there. So a lot of these cars are breaking down along the way, and people are literally walking. The lines at the border can be a day long or longer to get across. And as cars are running out, people are simply abandoning them and walking across.
It is unbelievable that this is being caused by one man and one man only. Usually it's governments and this, but it's so similar to Saddam Hussein. I was on a Hannity radio show today talking about the similarity between what happened in Iraq and Kuwait and Saddam and Putin, how they're really the same evil person. The Ukrainian people, as you pointed out, you say middle class, but middle class in America, it's a different connotation. They don't have a lot of reserve. These people have a lot of money in the bank.
Right.
So when they show up in Poland, that's what they got. All right. And so now we're talking about, I'd say about 4 million displaced people over the border and another 6 million within Ukraine itself. So this is a catastrophic occurrence in a violation of human rights to the extent that we haven't seen since the Third Reich and Stalin in Russia. Do you see anything more the United States could do?
So one of the interesting things over there is obviously there's large Russian populations in those areas that are really under major attack right now. And it's galvanized both the Ukrainian individuals and the Russian individuals. They're all equally upset at Putin for what he's doing. A lot of talk about enforcement of a no-fly zone. The MiGs were a big issue as well in terms of how they could find a way to get those into Ukrainian fighter pilots' hands, because Russia still does not obviously control the airspace over there. And money and assistance is what's really needed, because there are a lot of people who, the term that we heard over and over again, are staying until the bitter end. And they're not going anywhere, and they're going to need some money and resources.
It's an ongoing thing,
help.
Absolutely. So tell us how people can get in touch with World Kitchen.
So World Central Kitchen, great organization, WCK.org. People can make donations there. We're actually hosting a huge charity concert at the Jersey Shore, in Point Pleasant Beach, at Jenkinson's on the boardwalk. We think we're going to raise close to $250,000, and we're going to split it up amongst World Central Kitchen, the Polish Red Cross, and Caritas Poland, that's helping a lot with all the orphans and the refugees.
And when is that concert going to be?
April 10th, 5 to 9 p.m.
All right. We want everybody to try to make it if you can't. WCK.com. WCK.com. That's easy. Hey, Mayor, thanks very much appreciate it. If you get any other information, please let us know. And you're doing a very good thing. And thanks again for helping us out tonight. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. I am an AMAC member, and you should be too. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful takes on today's news, and a magazine full of uncensored content that you will not find anywhere else. Most importantly, AMAC is working tirelessly to preserve the freedoms enshrined and secured by our Constitution. AMAC has become one of the most impactful organizations in America because more than just talk, AMAC gets things done. They are pushing back against the efforts to defund our police, weaken the borders, and replace your freedom with government control. But they need your help. Stand with me and more than 2 million patriots and join AMAC today at amac.us. That's AMAC.us. amac.us, and tell them O'Reilly sent you. So here is a final thought of the day. You know, I'm impressed by Florida. That state got through COVID without wrecking its economy. It's common sense down there. There's no state tax. A lot of my friends, by bill, I'm going south. I lived in Florida for a couple of years, taught high school, as some of you know down there. But now they got another bill that they just signed into law. Senate Bill 1054 says that all high school students must take a class in financial literacy before they graduate. Right on. Because kids don't know anything about money. Most adults don't know anything about money. About half of the American population have no money. Even though they're working, they got like $400 on average in the bank. Money is power. Money is security. Money is everything in a capitalist society to keep you safe. You got to know how to handle it. You got to know a stock from a bond. You got to know a little real estate. You got to know how to save. The most important lesson my father ever taught me was you save 10% of your take-home pay. Every week, 10% in the bank. And I did it. I didn't do most other stuff my father told me to do, but I did that. And it worked out great. I had money to invest. I made smart, conservative investments. And while I was working my butt off, and I still do, my portfolio grew. I don't take chances. There's no Bitcoin and none of that. I don't do that. It's legitimate conservative investing over a period of time. And I don't buy stupid stuff like $5 cups of coffee. I got Newman coffee down here, 20 cents a cup. And Newman, that food company, gives all the proceeds to charity. So anyway, way to go, Florida. Teach those kids about money. It's vitally important. Thank you for watching the No Spin News and listening as well on WABC Radio. We will see you tomorrow. Attention savvy investors looking for predictable monthly cash flow. How about double-digit targeted bonus returns? If you want the safety and security of a real estate investment, but without the hassles of being a landlord, you probably heard of NRIA. NRIA is an industry-leading real estate development firm in its 15th year. They develop in strategically located, lower-risk, high-demand neighborhoods that are based on supply-demand imbalance. They are a great fit for safety-oriented investors who want cash flow and diversification in carefully chosen real estate. So you can learn more about the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund at nria.net, or you can call 800-800-1414. That's easy, 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.